welcome to the Mini Book Podcast on YouTube.
Great to be here.
We'd really appreciate it if you could take just a quick second to like and subscribe.
Yeah, doing that means we can keep bringing you up-to-date book info and, content like this.
Exactly. So let's get into the Mini Book Podcast on YouTube.
Oh.
Okay, today we're immersing ourselves in Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club.
Right.
And it kicks off with this pretty thought-provoking quote from Nietzsche.
Oh, yeah, the one about dancing. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music.
That's the one. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About, well, maybe sometimes when you're doing something different, something others don't get, you might actually be onto something important.
Absolutely. It sort of frames that whole tension between conventional thinking and genuine innovation, not just art, but business, life. People doing remarkable things often look a bit strange at first because, well, nobody's heard that music yet.
So true. And that leads right into the entrepreneur character in the book.
Yeah.
Doing great just a year ago, really celebrated. But now things are tough.
A real downturn.
Yeah. And what's interesting is how she initially felt about these personal optimization conferences. Just completely dismissed them.
Right. Saw them as kind of, what was it? For the broken winged.
Exactly. People looking for quick fixes from gurus, she thought.
Which, you can understand that cynicism sometimes, can't you? When things are going well or even when they're not, it's easy to be skeptical of things that seem different.
Definitely. We put up walls.
Yeah.
But then things change for her. Her circumstances shift.
And that changes her perspective, right? It often takes something significant, like her business troubles, to make someone, open to new ideas.
And the trigger.
Yeah.
A ticket to one of those very conferences.
The irony.
A gift from her mom. The very thing she was mocking becomes this potential turning point. It just shows how our viewpoint can really depend on where we're standing at that moment.
It really does. Makes you think how often we might just write something off because it doesn't fit our current, narrative, especially when we're comfortable. But that resistance might mean we miss out on something really valuable. Her situation kind of forces her hand.
So then, at this conference, we meet the Spellbinder, this legendary speaker in his 80s, filling stadiums.
Incredible image, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's clear the audience isn't just there for, stock tips or something. They're looking for more, something deeper than just money.
Right. A sense of meaning, maybe? Purpose?
I think so.
Yeah.
And his message hits hard. You were born into the opportunity as well as the responsibility to become legendary.
Wow. That's a big statement. Responsibility, that's the key word there, I think.
How so?
Well, it's not just saying, hey, you could be great. It's saying you kind of owe it to yourself, to the world, to try. It shifts it from a wish to an active duty.
That makes sense. And he really goes after them too, doesn't he? Telling them to stop being, what was it?
Cyber zombies.
Right. Stop being cyber zombies, lost in scrolling and notifications, and actually invest in themselves. It's a pretty stark wake-up call.
It really is a call to be intentional. Where is our focus going? Are we, just consuming passively, or are we actively building something? That metaphor really cuts through.
And he doesn't ignore the fact that people have struggled. He addresses it head on.
Yeah, he says something like, your excuses are seducers.
Your fears are liars and your doubts are thieves. Powerful stuff.
It is. He acknowledges the pain, the difficulty, but then reframes it. He tells them not to let the past hold back their future glory.
And he even calls those hard times perfect preparation.
That's such a powerful reframe, isn't it? Instead of seeing challenges as things that broke you, see them as things that forged you, gave you resilience, maybe wisdom you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, drawing strength from it instead of being weighed down.
Exactly. Very liberating, potentially.
Okay, so then things get weird. In a good way.
After the Spellbinder's dramatic exit.
Yeah. The entrepreneur and this other attendee and artist bump into this guy who looks, homeless.
Yeah.
And the entrepreneur is still a bit cynical, But the artist seems more open, more affected by the Spellbinder.
A contrast in reactions.
But then the twist, the guy who looks homeless, he pipes up and says he owes his entire fortune to the Spellbinder's teachings.
Whoa. Okay, didn't see that coming.
Right. Talk about not judging a book by its cover.
Seriously. It's a perfect illustration of how wisdom can pop up in the most unexpected places, challenges all those surface-level judgments we make.
So naturally they're intrigued. And what's the big secret? The core lesson this guy learned.
What was it?
He says, winning starts at your beginning. And your first hours are when heroes are made. It's all about having a world-class morning routine.
The core concept starts to emerge. The 5 a.m. club idea.
Exactly. And apparently the entrepreneur, who was so skeptical before, starts, like, scribbling notes like crazy.
Huh. That tells you something, doesn't it? Despite all the initial resistance, something about that practical, actionable advice just clicked.
Yeah, maybe the simplicity of it.
Could be. The idea that these small, consistent actions at the start of the day can build up to something massive, it definitely makes you pause and think about your own morning, right?
Totally. And then there's this detail about the entrepreneur's bracelet. One of her silver bracelets says, "Done is better than perfect."
Interesting. Ties into taking action.
Right. And this becomes even more significant when the formerly homeless-looking rich guy invites her and the artist to his private island.
Okay, now it's getting really intriguing. An island.
Yeah. Hinting there's more to learn, this whole adventure is just beginning.
And that phrase, done is better than perfect, really speaks to overcoming that trap of waiting for everything to be exactly right before you start.
Yeah, perfectionism is procrastination.
Exactly. Just starting, making progress, even if it's messy, is often way more valuable. The island trip sounds like maybe they'll see that principle in action.
So it ends, this first part, with them agreeing to meet the next day.
When?
Don't tell me.
5 a.m., of course.
And the guy's instruction is simple. Own your morning, elevate your life. Ties it all together.
It really does. Sets the stage perfectly.
We get a little glimpse of them heading to the island, the entrepreneur still having some doubts, understandably.
But the core message is clear. It's about intentionality, right? Challenging your own limits, starting with how you start your day.
Yeah, that seems to be the foundation. This idea that greatness isn't luck, it's built, brick by brick, starting early.
A commitment to mastering yourself, beginning with those first crucial hours. It's a compelling premise.
Absolutely. Well, this is the end of our deep dive for today.
As always, thanks so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for listening, and please do subscribe if you haven't already.
The book we've been discussing is The 5 a.m. Club, Own Your Morning, Elevate Your Life by Robin Sharma.
Definitely worth checking out if this sparked your interest. We highly encourage you to grab a copy for the full story and all the details.
Yep, and you can find links and more info in the description below.
Thanks again, everyone.